you would have crossed off the winners, though.
What's up, fellas? Welcome to Pick Central on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. Football Friday. What could be better? Mr. Walker, or Brandon Walker, out today, but do have two solid partners in crime here. Ev on my left. What's up, Ev? How are you?
Feeling good. It's Friday. Got my good shirt on. Going to see some fights at the Garden later. PFL tonight. Going to be a sick card. I'm going to be there in person. It's on ESPN, ESPN Plus. Check them out. It's great fight. It's going to be awesome.
Joined as always, Rico Bosco. What's up, Rico?
It was good. Listen, I usually have 6 screens of baseball going. It was good to mix in some football last night.
It was, and we'll go
Late
ahead.
start, kind of lost it. You checked in, I'll be honest, didn't really intently watch it, but it was there.
It's always what it is. I think I said a little bit yesterday. It's always like those first few plays you're all excited, and then especially the Hall of Fame game when they're just playing nobody.
Yeah.
Because once you're in the second quarter, you're like third string already. You're deep.
Crazy.
Especially in the second half, you're getting deep into the bench.
I was surprised it went over.
Yeah, I was too.
I mean, usually those preseason games, it's tough to get them over. I know it was only 30.5. Did y'all see the funny thing with whoever, I don't know if it was an intern, but whoever was running the sportsbook account, put a check mark by the over when it was still in doubt early in the fourth quarter, and Big Cat was just like, whoever did this better pray this over is. It was really, really, really
That's
funny.
usually how it goes.
Couple observations from last night. I mean, like you said, you can only say so much about preseason. Stidham didn't look bad. Josh McDaniels brought him over from New England. He was the backup in New England, and so he knows that offense, which I felt like was pretty obvious. I thought it was interesting Josh Jacobs was out there, and they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. And, the Patriot way is always to just go with the running back flavor of the month. And they've got 4 or 5 guys. So I feel like he's got something to prove. The Jacksonville side of it, I mean, there wasn't really. I thought
you're not going to know anything until you see if Trevor Lawrence is really clicking and, the changeover from Urban's disaster. Like, it's all to be determined. It's just, again, like I said, it's just nice to have it on there. I mean, you see a long pass every once in a while. You see a big hit. Like, it's just good to have it back. Now it's starting to get going.
Well, my thing, I like that Chris Collinsworth talked about this on the broadcast. The Jacksonville thing, not enough's being talked about all the quote healing that has to go on, because it got so bad with Meyer last year that all the players lost all faith in the coaching staff and the locker room and stuff. And so, I mean, Doug Peterson's got a lot ahead of him on not just getting better, but the cultural front too. And that's
if all those guys are gone, I think that healing starts pretty quickly. No.
Yeah, well, I think Peterson, you can trust a guy that's won a Super Bowl already a couple of years ago. So, but yeah, it's just hard to tell. Jacksonville had a lot of backups out there. I kind of preseason, it's the same thing every year. I get excited to see football on, and then I watch like the first quarter of the first game, and I'm like, all right, what?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But I mean, it's great to have it on.
What time Seinfeld start?
Yeah, but then you see Jake Luton just out there. I mean, it's not. It ain't.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's not. It ain't.
It had a very small window on my TV.
Yeah, well, I was watching a good bit of it. Major League Baseball, big win for the Mets over the Braves. Beginning of a 5-game series with 2. It's a 5-game series. I guess there's a doubleheader on Saturday.
Doubleheader on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, but listen,
huge series.
We'll get to that story. I got to give the man to your left a little bit of credit. The guy nailed the Rockies. See the units he put up last night? Rockies money line in the first half, first 5, I should say.
3 plus 200s yesterday.
Yeah, the hit parade.
I hit the Rockies first 5 money line.
Like 8 units.
Can we get the results from yesterday up on the screen? I kind of want to pay some.
Yeah, I had Rockies first 5 plus 1.5, and then
6-1 plus 8.35 units in one day.
Well, also, I guess we'll start from the big. So in the early game, I hit the Pirates money line plus 210. I hit Rockies first 5 plus 1.5, and then first 5 money line plus 225. I hit the
parade plus 200.
Hit parade plus 200. I hit the Cardinals early that they were down 3-0. They came back and won 4-3. And then the only game I lost was the Braves.
So I also should have been 5-0. Verlander goes 2 hits through 6 innings, has 5 strikeouts, 3 of them in the first 2 innings. Like, he's cruising. They get up 6-0. The Astros decide, hey, you know what? This game's in doubt. They pull him for the 7th. The guy Will Smith comes out of the bullpen. I'm like, what are we doing? Just give me 1 more strikeout. So I was dialed in last night. I'm trying. Yeah, you got to make a run. I got to make a run in a month. It's usually every month. I got to make a run. He's got a big lead, but yeah, it was good. The Mets.
So early.
Listen, the Vogelbach shirts dropped. TJ, even as a Yankee fan, I think you gotta You had a little bit of a chuckle on that Vogelbach shirt, no?
I'm a fan of the big guys.
Yeah, he's electric. He on the broadcast last night, Ben. He apparently told Pete Alonso, I hit my homers in dozens, like I like my donuts or something. Like he's in. They were saying he's already assimilated. He's friends with everybody in the clubhouse. You can look. He's talking to this guy. He's talking to that guy. He got a curtain call last night. Listen, everybody's gonna say like we didn't make a move at the deadline. I did think we upgraded though. Vogelbach's better than J.D. Davis.
The rough thing.
Ruff is better than Janikowski, who we got rid of. Like we're doing okay. I also think they were saying last night too, it matters a little bit that they all like each other. So when somebody's got to leave, like if you got rid of somebody that everybody likes, that can fuck things up too. So, listen, I like where we're at. It's you got to enjoy the runs. We were talking about just before we started recording, like baseball's a long season. You got to enjoy the run. The other thing that's quietly kind of going on is the Padres might be a fraud.
Oh, it's so. I mean, they just made the
possibly.
I told you.
I don't love the pitching staff.
We said it all the time too.
With stats on Freeland on the road.
With these three though, if they never win the division and the Dodgers always have their number, then it's like.
But, even if they don't win this year, it's still like.
No, this year is they definitely started it. But if they never win the division in these next 3 or 4 years. After after last year of all of them talking and yapping and being hot dogs and saying this and saying that, you got to win one. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying
got to win one division.
Like they're in probably besides the AL East, probably the toughest division in baseball.
They definitely
you
are.
Have the team that's been the best team in their division, the best team the last like 5 or so years plus. I mean, I don't like they lost one game to the Rockies. You're like, I don't know if they got it. It's a 162 game season. They made the trade 3 days ago.
It's something to file away.
I mean, listen, the Dodgers are always going to be there because they still have a lot of like Mookie's going to be there for a long time. Trey Turner's going to be there for a long time. They obviously just signed Freeman.
They're always in on other names.
They're always staying aggressive. Like, they have some young pitching too. Like, they're going to be good. I mean, it's going to be them and the Padres. It's going to be the two.
I guess it's like a Mets thing of like seeing the glass half empty. Like if I was a Padre fan, I'd start to be like, hey, this window of like all these great players. If we don't win one, it's a missed window. That's
all their
I'm
great
saying.
players are so young.
I got it. I'm already laying the groundwork.
Cronenworth is young. Obviously, Soto's young.
Old takes exposed. I'm just laying the groundwork that there could possibly be an offer in this team's window. That's all.
I mean, but then like an offer for a World Series, for example, is almost like it's highly likely. You know what I'm like? Just in the sense that like they obviously they're talented. It's hard to win. It's hard to win the whole thing, and it's even harder when the best team in the league is in your division.
Yeah.
So they're unless they have an unreal season.
Listen, I could be eating my words. The Mets could get the Padres in the divisional and be fucked. So
what's any word on Tatis at all?
I don't know. I thought he was getting a little bit better, and then I saw I don't really know, to be honest with you.
I think there hasn't been a ton of buzz this year about him coming back at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
He would be a jolt, though. So
sure.
Obviously. So.
Yeah, that's why. That's precisely what I was asking. 8.3 units though yesterday. I mean, that's up there in the pantheon of all-time Pick Central Day. And to do it without, I know the hit parade hit again, and now it's up 11 units this year. But it's one thing to win 8 units, but it's a lot more to do it when you don't hit like an outrageous parlay like I've done a couple times.
No, it felt good. Hitting a
couple.
What
I mean, when you really hit it like that on all the underdogs, that's impressive.
Now hitting a couple plus 200 good. I'm telling you, get on the Freeland. When Freeland pitches on the road, get on the first 5 train. He's been good, really good. And now especially how I feel like especially when they're on the road, they're always usually like big dogs.
Yeah. Baseball, there's a lot of plus signs now, too. We talked about it, too, a couple teams that are in the mix that could just, the bottom might drop out. So, like, if you see them as a favorite, like, I think the Marlins got a lot of respect early. I also thought the Giants got a lot of respect early, and I think the Giants obviously traded Ruff. Carl said he's the heartbeat of the team. I think the Giants could free-fall now, like lose 8 out of 10. So if you start to see them, hey, they're still minus 125, just blindly chase the juice. Okay. Start chasing that. I think the Angels have quit.
Oh, the Angels thing.
1,000.
You tweeted yesterday they may end up behind the 8.
They hit 7 home runs yesterday, and they lost.
They lost 8-7.
Yeah, they were down big.
Solo home runs.
I reached out. I want to get a prop. They said it's too hard and it's not. I want to get the A's to finish ahead of the Angels.
How
in the
far
standings.
back are they now?
4.5 games. It's so like obscure. It's just more my point that the Angels stink and have rolled over. So we'll see. And again, if you get them plus, just go opposite.
Look, I think that's more than fair. Just seeing how much they've collapsed. It's been a very, very rough fall. Football Friday today too. I always love that with Rico. You're always as enthusiastic as I am about.
Yeah, we're
it.
the first program to ever do Football Friday.
Ever. No one's ever thought of that in the
Flagship.
100-year history of radio. No one's done it. But today, Shay's going to pop by for a little bit too. Like we said, the Hall of Fame game last night. Do y'all like the NFL? Yeah, I like the preseason being less games now. I know it's the Hall of Fame teams play 4 and the other teams play 3. I think that's fine.
I wish a little bit that it was mixed in. Like next week we have what? Heavy Thursday night?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
It would be nice to have
the Giants are on the 11th.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a Monday night game, a Tuesday night. Like sprinkle one in. They're not all I know it's tough to get them all nationally broadcasted, but it'd be nice to have one each night that you could just keep your eyes on, because with 5 or 6 going, you're trying to it's tough to keep up. You don't get all the eyes on certain things, and you're really only getting your local team anyway. So.
Congrats! I forgot to mention this at the outset of the show. Congrats to Tommy Smokes. Most dangerous game. He just outrageous, man. I mean, he wins every game show. I mean, I feel like he's almost got like a whole different salary just off winning these game shows from Barstool. Pockets 25 large from this. He won $10K from winning Surviving Barstool last year.
Wait till you see mini golf.
I don't know. When's that air?
I don't know. I'm just being.
I can't believe they let him win.
I can't believe
it's
it.
Crazy. Like you have to. It's like anytime somebody comes back for Survivor with All Stars, you vote that guy out.
Yeah, like it's like, what do you? I couldn't believe.
Past winner, you don't.
And he literally could have got voted out every single time, besides I think once or twice, and they just kept keeping him in. I'll give him a ton of credit. He did such a great job of just like convincing people that like he did a great. I don't know if you guys. Well, I watched every episode. He did a great job of convincing everyone else that no one would vote for him. And that's so stupid because the whole point is by doing that, at the end, everyone's like, I tricked all of you. And then they all, like, when they're mad, they were mad at first, and then they end up respecting, like, he booted Jordan point blank, and then she just voted for him to win.
Because you beat me. At a certain point, if you beat me, I got to respect it. The thing I'm kind of worried about is his dream is to be on actual Survivor, which I do think is possible. But now with the internet and research, if these people know that he's on it, if they announce the cast or something like that, he should be worried people have seen his game plan a little bit.
They saw his game plan this time and he won.
I know. I'm saying actual
the people that he's with every day saw his game plan.
I'm saying actual Survivor, the real Survivor, 40 days out in CBS. I'm worried if he used all his bag of tricks.
I'm at a point where I'm not counting him out of anything with it.
The thing with Survivor is I think there's a high chance that none of them, or maybe like a couple, even have seen these shows.
I also don't think they would announce the cast, actually, now that I'm backtracking. Like, they wouldn't tell you everyone who's on it and let you game plan.
No, they don't tell you until, because I know what's...
So more so he's just used his
I've seen some episodes of Survivor, and I've seen more than that. I've seen like a good amount of seasons. And what they don't say anything, but what happens is they've had random seasons where like an NFL player went on, or like I remember like Eddie George's wife.
Yeah.
And then once they find that out, you're fucked.
Yep.
See, Tommy's different though, because Tommy isn't like a multi-millionaire. Where I remember Eddie George's wife felt bad the second they found out like she ain't like we ain't giving her the $1 million.
I think
like got a rich husband like
yeah.
Or I think it was Brad Johnson, was it, or somebody who did it?
Scott Pollard.
I think there might have been a couple.
I thought Scott Pollard did it.
I know there was somebody else.
Couple NBA players.
Some that did it, and they were like, obviously this guy's made millions of dollars. We're not giving him the $1 million over. We got like firemen and like mechanics.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, obviously, like we're giving them like we're all Joes here. Like I'd rather see him get the money. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it goes.
Jimmy Johnson was on it.
Really?
Pretty positive.
He might have been.
TJ, see if you can pull that up. Pretty positive Jimmy Johnson was on.
Shout out to Logan and our production team, though. I thought the production on that show was spectacular.
Yeah, anything.
I know they got outside.
They crushed it. No,
those are guys who are here before you get here and after you leave. And
no, I agree. Those guys grind their ass off.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an interesting thing, like the dynamic between content and production and Barstool. But those guys behind the scenes, man,
yeah, Jimmy.
They're in there till 2 a.m. They're in here at 8 a.m. I mean, they're 7 a.m. They grind, man. I respect it.
Jimmy
Johnson was on Survivor.
Yeah.
Because he got booted out immediately.
It is demanding physically, though. Tommy's a frail guy.
40 days outside is
well, just the physical challenges of standing.
No, but I'm saying also but when you see these guys when they come in and like when they leave,
Oh yeah,
they look like different people. If you compare like day 1 to day 38 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean you're eating rice.
They lose. They literally. They're guys that aren't even like out of shape. Guys lose like 30 pounds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane. They grow these beards. They're fucking skinny. Skin's all like beat up, drawn out.
You think they provide them with sunscreen as a safety thing?
Probably. You gotta
Yeah,
have to, right?
I'm sure there's shit behind the scenes that they're
Certain
allowed to
shit
talk
that,
about
like,
that.
No one's tougher than the sun.
I know, but they got to give it to them. That's the thing. Like you can't be searching a fucking island for sunscreen.
Now that I think about it, I almost can't remember somebody being like, "Oh, like I got crazy burnt."
That's the thing, and you always would get that.
And you do see guys, and think about some of these places, like some of the sun is different in like some of these southern countries, like close to the equator, than like here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Nuts.
Well, congrats again to Tommy Smokes. I was kind of pulling for our guy Smitty. I was hoping he'd win.
See,
I love Tommy though.
I was surprised that he didn't more get like the father thing.
Yeah.
Because I would be more inclined to give money. Like when I just think about giving money, I'd be more inclined to give it to somebody with a kid than just like a single, like 26-year-old who's already won a few of these and's got some money.
Yeah, I thought if anybody won, it would have been great.
Well, honestly, the funniest part was
Bree, Jordan,
the two of them voted for
Sass,
Tommy.
Sydney. Yeah, that's about it.
I think the two of them literally voted for Tommy. Like Lil Sass, literally, like the winning vote was his vote.
Yeah.
For Tommy. If he voted for Smitty, it would have been a tie.
Sass is very low key, like just go with the flow though. So
see, that to me, I would have been kicking myself. Because Tommy did a great. He just convinced everybody that no one was going to vote for him, and then just everybody voted for him.
That's
genius.
What a hustle. Interesting around the Barstool office. I'm sure y'all see all the construction going on. Surviving Barstool going to be getting
rolling it right out.
Yeah, they're going to be rolling with it, taping it next week. I don't know who all's on. I know Shay's on it. I don't know who all's on it, but
I actually have no idea.
Heard it's a cast of characters.
Okay, I debated it. They wanted me on it, and I was gonna do it, but I have this funeral and got to leave this week. This week was bad for my schedule. Honestly, I don't know what the hell I'm doing on these kind of games, these kind of things. Like, I'm not a Survivor fan. I feel like I'm drawing just stone cold dead to win that 10K. I feel like I literally would have no shot at all.
Yeah, at least Surviving Barstool is a little easier that you're just in the office.
Yeah, sleeping in the office for 4 days.
As opposed to sleeping
it starts
like
Sunday. You have to commit to it till Thursday. I don't know. But either way, good luck to everybody. I know the production will be awesome. It was a success year one, and hopefully someone other than Tommy Smokes will win one of these things. I don't think he's in it though.
I doubt it.
I doubt it after he won last year. All right, let's get to some Football Friday stuff. We've obviously been doing the win total Wednesday for college football. Today, going to touch on some NFL. I did a little research on some of them. Stephen Che and I have been taping a bunch of Fantasy Football Factory stuff, so I've been going through a lot of props and doing a ton of NFL research this week, so I'm feeling a little sharp. And I actually came up with a couple of unders today. I was looking at some strength of schedule stuff, and the first team I'm going to bring up to debate is a team that they never have bad seasons, and I think they're going to have one this year. And
Steelers.
Yes.
Add him to the list.
Yes.
Add him to the list.
I do think the defense will be really good, but I feel like the Baltimore Ravens are going to have a bounce back year this year. They had a crap ton of injuries last year.
Yeah, they lost every running back.
Yeah, and then their defense, remember the game where they had to play Burrow with the whole team having COVID when he had 530 yards or whatever late in the year? I just feel like they really got the wrong end of stuff, and people are sleeping on them. They're going to bounce back. Cincinnati's tough. The Cleveland thing, obviously Watson, the suspension stuff's still up in the air. It's going to be at least 6. But just the more and more I think about it, I know Big Ben was struggling at the end. I get all that. But I just can't talk myself into this Trubisky, Kenny Pickett thing. And not just them. I say it all the time. I beat it like a dead horse, but until they change their offensive coordinator, I got zero faith in that offense, and I think it could be a train wreck. So, and they also have a very tough schedule, and so they're over under 7.5. I know people are going to clap back. Tomlin's had one losing? Is he even had a losing season?
I don't think he's ever had a losing season.
I think he was 8-8 before. Yeah. Well, there's a first time for everything, and I think it may be coming this year.
See, I'm on their over. For me, more is it's 7.5, so they could actually have a losing season.
Yeah, 8-9 gets you there.
Yeah.
Still hit it.
17 games is fucking me up.
I guess I'm more just a believer in their defense. I think their defense can do enough to win games, and I think there's been a lot of talk coming out of camp with how bad the quarterbacks have looked, but
Their defense is good.
literally the defense is really good, and that's the two main ones. I mean, Pickett and obviously Trubisky, both a new offense. It's their first few weeks working it. You're not going to be great the first, and I don't think their offense needs to be great for them to win 8-9 games. But I think they're going to be over. The one that I brought today. You mentioned it. Mine was I brought the Baltimore over 9.5. I think they easily could win. I think they could have a season, maybe not as good as Lamar's MVP season, but if they won 12 games, would you be shocked?
No, and I was looking at. I'm also looking at
the division is those 6 games are.
I think especially if Watson now they're appealing, it might be a whole season. I think they're the best team.
Well, I'm looking at strength of schedule, too, and the Steelers have the 29th, one of the toughest. Theirs is 29th. I like what you're thinking on the Ravens. Theirs is 11th. They're over under 9.5. I also think we'll see what's going on with this Lamar contract thing, but I kind of in the same vein as Aaron Judge, I actually like the Ravens more if he doesn't get it done before camp.
I just think
he's got a ton to prove. And there's always people back. Lamar gets slighted more in the media, and obviously our esteemed boss, Dave Portnoy's chimed in against him more than a couple times. But I feel like people like to bag on him more than almost anybody, and I think he's pretty awesome.
I think he's great. Actually, I felt bad because we talked about it before, and I'd said that he hadn't won a playoff game. I forgot that he did.
Yeah, he won at Tennessee.
But regardless, I mean, he's just a great player, and I agree with you. He's a guy with a chip on his shoulder. You do not want to see that guy. And I love the way Harbaugh coaches him. I love the belief that Harbaugh has in him. I love when they get a 4th and short or a chance to go for 2 win a game. He's give me the ball, and Harbaugh's go.
Dude, it's
full confidence, full faith. I think that that bond between even when Harbaugh's not an offensive guy per se, I just think that belief in each other is massive for a winning team. And we talked about before, they've had so many injuries last year. I mean, Lamar went down for 5 games. Even though Huntley actually played pretty well, I mean, they lost all the games.
Yeah, he played really good in that Packers game. Huntley played his ass off.
No, he played well, and they covered spreads. And I almost think them covering spreads made me forget that they lost. They went 0-5.
Yeah.
Because I want to say they might have covered at least 3 or 4 of those games. I remember I bet on them and did well. But I just think obviously with Lamar out there, they're a total different team. And I think you're going to have guys like Rashad Bateman, who was the first-round pick, who was injured at the beginning of last year, him getting a full camp.
Yeah.
Obviously, losing Hollywood isn't great, but I just think they're gonna be very, very good. Dobbins back, I think he's gonna be huge for them.
Yeah, the running
really good running back.
Mess last year.
And I just think they're good. I think they could easily win 11, 12 games. I think they're gonna win the division. I just think 9.5 is pretty juice. I think the 9.5 is minus 150, 160, but I think it's for a reason. I think they easily win. I think they easily win 10, 11 games.
If you like the Steelers and the Ravens, I guess in a way, are you down on the Browns and Bengals?
I'm going to be down on the Browns just because I think that even though I just think it's the best division, top to bottom. Actually, it's tough to say with AFC West, but
yeah,
they do.
I think it has to be the AFC West for now.
Probably
the
just
Browns question.
Yeah,
they don't have their best player playing for 6 games. So
and the fact that he could be out the whole season, even though they're a team that I think could be still decent just because good defense, good run game. But I don't know. I just the Browns definitely the team I'm probably the lowest on just because of those things what Deshaun. And I also think the Bengals kind of have this thing I think everyone thinks they're going to be way worse. I think they're going to be I think they could win.
They weren't great in the season last year.
I think they could. I think they have a little bit of that. I think they could do a similar thing. I'm not saying they go to the Super Bowl, but I think they're a team that could be a wild card team and go win a playoff game again. Maybe 2, who knows?
Yeah, but I do think once you get to the party and arrive, and now you're not sneaking up on anybody, and you get those primetime games where everybody's going to give you your best shot, it's just a natural regression a little
Fair.
bit. I could see them losing a 3-point game on Sunday night, or Monday. They're going to be getting everybody's best shot. They're not sneaking up on anybody. That's the only thing.
Another point on that, they had the last place schedule last year. This year they have the first one.
There you go.
That's always a tough thing.
That always happens when you elevate your record.
That's the thing. A lot of times having that last place schedule can really.
The thing to your point too, you talked about the guy called yesterday a troll mints, and everybody was kind of yelling, so it kind of got brushed under the radar when he said who Drew Brees has lost playoff games to. Just a quick reminder: Tom Brady has lost to Mark Sanchez, Joe Flacco, Ryan Tannehill, and Nick Foles, all in playoff games. Winning in the playoffs is very difficult, and that's not a knock on Brady, and it's not a knock on Drew Brees, or it's
both of them were around forever.
That's the thing.
That's the thing when you're around that long.
Crazy shit happens in the playoffs, Lamar is still just kind of just starting it. Now, if he never wins one, he'll write the book himself. But I do think it flips a little bit. That's all. You know,
that's fair.
You've seen some crazy shit in playoff games, dude. That's just how it goes.
Well, I mean, the guy calling in that
One NFL game.
that was more just like.
No, yeah, I got it.
The variance is high, is my point.
But like even Brady has lost. You know, Brady loses to guys who are not that great. It's just how it goes.
I agree with you. I think that guy he was more just going Drew Brees.
Of course.
But no, I hear you.
I mean, I'm catching some heat for the Saints homer stuff a little bit, but it is what it is. I mean, that's part of who I am, and I'm always going to be that way. So tough crap getting me to change. I've got another under I want to bring up right now. How the hell are the Seattle Seahawks going to win 6 games this year? I mean, you look at their division.
Ben, do you know that the under is plus money?
Yeah, no, it's 5.5 is plus. And here's the thing: how about we break it down? Let's break it down like this, Rico.
I got the whole schedule in front of me. I have 11 losses.
Okay, if they win one in that division, if they go 1-5, that's an accomplishment. They're either going 0-6 or 1-5 against the Rams, Niners, and Cardinals. You know, maybe they could sneak one of them at home on like an upset, maybe. But that's I mean, the Niners, Rams, and Cardinals are all. I mean, we know the Niners and Rams are freaking. You know, that was the NFC Championship. They're both gonna be really good. Arizona was 9-0. I know they struggled toward the end, but I mean, Seattle ain't going on the road and winning that game. I mean, they literally might. I mean, if they go, like I said, they're going 1-5 or 0-6 in that division, and when you put it in that perspective, then they have to be like a 500 team in the rest of their games to get there. Hell no.
I only have them having 6 winnable games.
Yeah.
You can weigh in on this.
Go ahead.
Atlanta, at Detroit, at New Orleans is still considered winnable. I think they lose, but for this exercise, you have to do it. I agree. Giants, Carolina, and the Jets. Now, 4 of those 6 are at home.
They're good. They do have a good home field.
The rest
That's the
of
one
the
thing
way,
they have.
This is how it starts. I'll skip the ones I already said. Denver, at San Francisco. Atlanta, at Detroit, at New Orleans. Arizona, at the Chargers. Giants, at Arizona, at Tampa Bay. Raiders, at Rams. Carolina, San Fran, at KC. Jets, Rams. Now, could they beat the Rams' third string? Possibly in Week 18 if the Rams already locked it up, but they don't want to fuck up a first pick.
That's what I was going to say.
So,
I think it could get real bad, and if the Drew Lock thing doesn't look good, and the quarterback draft being strong,
under 5.5 at
it's a very obvious
plus money.
It's an obvious tank spot to get a number 1 pick quarterback.
I feel like they didn't even really consider signing a different quarterback.
They apparently Seattle, even when Drew Lock was coming out in the draft, they just had this crazy high draft grade on Drew Lock. And they were even looking when Russell Wilson was there, they were looking at drafting him. So they were just in love with something about Drew Lock. I guess we'll find out this year.
Yeah.
They're seeing something I'm not seeing.
In their first 10 games, I see a best case scenario of 3-7, but they could also be 1-9 because it's at Detroit. Detroit, we talked about.
They're play hard.
They're pesky. I don't think Detroit rolls over and loses that game, especially being Week 4. The Giants, we don't know if they can turn some things around. I don't know, under 5.5 at plus money, I think is almost mispriced.
No,
I really do. It's to me that's crazy.
Like I said, I mean, if you mentally say they're going 1-5 or 0-6 in that division, let's say they go 1-5, that means they got to go 5-6 to get the cash. And if they go 0-6 in that division, they got to go 6-5 in their other 11. And I don't know. In losing Russell Wilson and his leadership, I mean, he pulled. How many games did he just pull out of his right ass cheek in the fourth quarter the last few years? I mean, it felt like you'd watch these Seattle games and they'd just be so sluggish on offense the first 2 quarters, and they'd be down 13-7 with 5 minutes left in the third, and then they'd end up scoring 20 in the fourth.
Yeah.
Because the defenses would get tired of chasing Wilson around and D linemen to gas out. Him being gone, I mean, their defense is not. I mean, it's not good.
No.
They've got DK.
Carroll's getting a little bit older.
The only thing they have is they have 2 decent weapons, just having DK and Lockett.
No, they definitely got that, but I also
That's
think
not gonna
Lockett
be,
and Wilson had such a special chemistry that's.
Well, also the other thing I think about too is their offensive line hasn't been very good.
They finally invested in that this offseason, but can they fix it? I don't know. They actually spent some capital on it because they have to because Locke can't move.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That offensive line being better is going to be crucial for them because, like you said, Locke clearly cannot move around like Wilson can. He's not going to be able to make those kind of schoolyard crazy one way, kind of do a little spin, go the other way, find somebody open kind of thing. So, I don't know. I mean, also, Chris Carson retired.
So yeah, it's Penny had a good last few games.
I love
and
Rashad
they got
I'm rooting for Rashad
and they got
Penny.
Kenneth Walker.
Oh, that's
Memphis,
right. They did
right?
have Kenneth
Michigan
Walker.
State.
Michigan State.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Honestly, Kenneth. That's
Michigan
gonna be a
State.
committee.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
I think Kenneth
Seattle, you
Walker.
never know who the hell.
Penny was a factory out at San Diego
For
State.
sure. No, and he like Mint said, he played good last year. And
Last like 4 weeks, Penny went nuts.
I think Kenneth Walker's style fits the NFL. Like I think he should come in right away and be a solid back.
But I just think they're going to be horrible. And
I think you'll know also, like, people talk about win totals not being locked in for a long period of time. You're going to know in the first 4 weeks because I'll tell you this. If they don't take Atlanta and at Detroit, there's no way they're winning 6 the rest of the way.
It's gonna be tough for sure.
I
always try to lean on.
Lock-key, no way.
The only thing I say is, like, I think it's very possible they lose probably all the games in the division or just one. I always try to say with division games, like, just I don't know, just the way shit goes. I almost lean just cautiously for the total that maybe they just get 2. You know what I mean? Just out of like crazy shit just happens in these division games. Like you see it with like even the NFC East. You see these shitty teams like give
well, no, the NFC
top
East
teams of games.
No, NFC East underdog. I mean, I had a thing where I'd blindly just take the points in the NFC East for years and make money. Like literally, I'd just be like, whoever's a 3 or 4 point underdog, just give them.
It's just kind of like I think it's
anybody can beat anybody.
little bit
They're
of
all
a
rivalry games.
It was a bit of a conference thing in general.
There was a stat floating around. If you blindly bet teams at +1 or +2 on the money line, you're up huge historically in the NFL.
Makes sense because I feel like a lot of times those are the trap lines.
Yeah,
Underdogs money line.
just bet
Like,
the
for
underdog
example, like,
money line. And I say it too. Like if there's really no way to cover 2 points in the NFL.
You see teams win by 1 decent amount.
The rarity.
I
think.
have FOMO about it.
All right, yeah. You
always
always have to.
I'm always like, give me the 2 points over the plus like 110.
I'd rather go +110. Where do you sit on the Seattle Seahawks?
Stephen Shea joining us. NFL win total football Friday. We're going through. We've taken a couple unders. I took the Steelers under because they've got a number 29 ranked strength of schedule at 7.5, and I don't.
Doesn't lose less than 8 games. He's always
But there's a first time for
I said he doesn't need to go 500 to get over.
Yeah.
And the one Rico and I both on under 5.5 Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, that team's pretty gross.
The division, the 6 games against Arizona, Rams, and Niners. Is
Dude, their schedule's brutal.
Yeah, 5.5 is just so low.
They only have 6 winnable games.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to, overs juiced up. It's -143, unders +118. So
Yeah, I would take the under.
Got to double check.
The only thing I would say is like
I think that should be reversed. I think
the-
the under should be -143. I really
the
do.
thing I would say is the 11 games you say are not like I guarantee they win at least one of those games.
That's the
That's fine.
NFL's.
That's fine.
different.
I wouldn't be shocked for them to randomly go in and just beat like Arizona on the road or like something like crazy like that.
Of the 6,
It happens like that.
Of the 6 I circled as like winnable, I don't know if they're going to win all those as well. So you give one back and then you net,
The only thing they've got going for them, Pete Carroll, and then the home. They do have a pretty good home field advantage in Seattle. That's a tough place to go win. That's the one thing they got. So Steven, we're kind of hitting our under.
They also have the most air miles in the league, like as far as like
Traveling.
time on plane.
And-
They have a game in Germany against us, which is wild.
Wow, the Seahawks and Bucks play in Germany.
Yes.
Oh, we have a
Wow.
Oh, Brandon
It's
Walker.
coming.
Brandon Walker.
Oh, sorry.
You're a Pepsi guy?
Shut up.
Poor.
The third person that just asked me if I'm a Pepsi guy.
It's like an embarrassing thing.
No, it's
Or I'm not
embarrassing.
going to
I
say
have it-
that.
I have it for my headaches.
Retract
I get headaches, and the caffeine helps me with my headaches.
You don't like Coke?
I don't like Coke. And it's not really liking Pepsi as much as it's disliking Coke.
Really?
Yeah.
Brandon, can you respond to my text?
No, that's not what he does.
Yeah, confirmed. How many unreads do you
Sorry,
have
were y'all
right
not
now?
talking about anything before I came in?
No, we were doing it. We're doing NFL. We've done some NFL win totals for football Friday. Rico and I both on under 5.5 on the Seahawks was one that was discussed. There's debate.
Plus money.
There's because how tough the division is. There's debate. Ev likes over on the Steelers. I liked under.
What's that? What's that?
It's
Total?
7.5. It's pretty low, but I think
That division's pretty good too.
I think the division's tough, and I think the quarterback thing and the offense is going
This is
to.
the last time, and I don't know. Maybe you know because you pretend to know NFL. When's the last time the Steelers went under that total?
Before
long time.
Before
Before Big
Tomlin.
Ben.
Tomlin does not go under 500.
He hasn't. Okay. All right. Oof.
So good.
I also said, even though it's the same division, I said I really like the Ravens over 9.5 as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah.
What's the Dolphins total?
I think I saw 7.5.
Oh,
I think it's 8.5. I saw.
I saw 8.5, and the Dolphins have the 19th. They've got one of the hard. They don't have the strength of schedule is not necessarily the best. My question on the Dolphins, they had all that weird stuff with Flores, and then the tampering thing with Peyton and Brady.
But that's a future Dolphins problem. That's a draft pick.
Oh yeah, but it's just weird stuff in the organization with Stephen Ross. Is kind of more my point. The McDaniel thing, you're bringing in, offensive coordinator for the Niners. We saw how he used Debo. He's going to use he has Tyreek Hill and Waddle, which is going to be fascinating to see how he uses that. I'm also wondering if Tyreek Hill is going to just get really pissed off at Tua at some point this season.
Yeah, he might. But one of the fashionable overs people like to pick right now because they had a good draft, a decent offseason, is the Jets, right? And I think they might be picking the wrong team in the division. I think the Dolphins could be the team that rise up a little bit, win 10 games this year.
It's a huge difference. Miami's over-under is 8.5. The Jets right now, it's moved since we talked about it last time.
What is
It's
it?
6 now. It was 5.5 before. And
What are the Patriots?
I think when we talked about it, it was still 6.
What are the Patriots?
I still
got a
said
five.
6.
Pretty sure I got a 5.5.
I think the Patriots over under right now that I'm seeing, I think was 9.
'Cause if we like both of those, if I like the Dolphins, you like the Jets. Everybody loves the Bills, right?
New England's 8.5.
Who has the nuts to who has the nuts to go under on the Patriots?
Not me.
8.5, 500.
I would do it. Fuck them.
I could see it.
Fuck them.
They have a tough schedule, so they're
This
Barely
idea that
weren't they barely above 500 last year? Where they finished 10-7?
This idea that Mac Jones is good is wrong. He's not, and I don't know that I see a huge ceiling ahead of him.
My thing with
Thank
them,
you.
their receiving core is true. I just
Trash.
it's crazy
Their offense
how
is
bad
trash.
their playmaking is.
I think
What's
he's
your-
okay. I don't think he's exceptional.
I think he was
He
pretty
won't
good
lose
for
it
a rookie.
for you though. He won't
lose
turn
it
the
for
ball
you.
over too much.
I think he's the second best quarterback on the roster, but that's just me.
Zappy.
I think Zappy can fucking light it up. I really do.
Well, don't rule that out. Don't rule Zappy coming in like week 3 and then just taking
Just
over
pulls
the league.
the Tom Brady.
But the
part.
thing is,
Yeah.
do they have major wide receivers for him to throw? Can they
No, their
all of a
receivers
sudden be an
stink.
electric offense? Yeah, exactly. I don't think so. So
Got good tight ends.
They do have Hunter Henry. I thought
It sounded
Johnny Smith-
sexual the way you said it.
Oh, good tight end like Hunter Henry and Johnny Smith. They spent a lot of money on them free agency last year, so
a tight
you can use them.
you throw to wide receivers.
I feel the same way in college. There's a team. Georgia has the best tight end room in the country. Everybody's like, their offense is going to be explosive. If your best group is your tight end group, I don't
Agree,
think
yeah.
you're going to be explosive. Like that's a luxury.
very, very rare.
To me, that's a luxury item. That's not a building block.
That's like the random, you get like Eric Ebron when he was in North Carolina, but those are so few and far between.
Yeah.
They're actually a big part of the offense in college.
Well, I
Kyle
think
Pitts was at Florida.
Yeah,
I think it's the
yeah.
third. It's the, or I should say, fourth thing you list when you're talking about how great an offense is. Obviously, it's the quarterback. Wide receivers and running backs can interchange.
Well, no, I would say 5th.
Offensive line.
Oh,
yeah.
you were making wide receiver and running back the same thing. weren't
Skill
you?
guys.
Just more like when I get excited about an offense and a win, hey, this offense is gonna be explosive. I obviously talk about the quarterback.
Right.
Then it's either they're loaded at wide receiver like Ohio State last year, or they're gonna pound it on the ground like Kansas State. So those are interchangeable. That's 3. And then as a bonus, I would say, yeah, hey, by the way, they got a really good tight end.
Don't you throw it behind offensive line too?
Yeah, O line's real high for me.
Like a lot of the old college over-unders right now are contingent on like Virginia
I don't list-
quarterback back,
yeah, I
no
got it.
O-line.
No, as far as importance, you're probably right. I put tight ends 5th, but in terms of explosiveness, you can't have an explosive offensive line. Let's be honest.
All right, let's get to does anybody
Ev's trying to sell.
I mean, if you got a dominant run game, your run game is going to be super.
Listen,
explosive.
I don't want to talk about Ev's team or anything, but Michigan's offensive line against Ohio State was explosive.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
No, that's the truth.
You're right.
That's a game where I was
Right.
like the position group that just jumped off the page the most wasn't their receivers, it wasn't the quarterbacks, it was their fucking offensive line.
Yeah.
We packed around cleats.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Slick.
Oh, you're going to beat them by 30 this year, bro.
Oh, yeah, no, I think so.
Blaming the equipment managers.
Yeah, whatever.
Blaming everybody but who he needs to blame.
All right, we asked everybody to bring one under and one over.
All right, well, let me
died
go.
on that.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I died on that hill with you, though, Ev.
No, I don't have one yet. I didn't know. You didn't. I just told you this morning that I wasn't going to be here, so you didn't include me on this.
Yeah, Yes, I did not. I admit that.
Not that you should have, because I didn't tell you I was going to be here.
I've already said it a bunch. I think they'll win the division. I'm on the Vikings over.
Okay.
9-134. I count 7 games that they have to go get. Detroit, Bears, Washington, Jets, at Lions, Giants, and at Bears. So 5 of those are at home. I'll go find the other 3 wins. I'm high on this team. I really am. There's also the schedule otherwise is like not that bad. I do think they'll win week 1 against the Packers. I'll stand behind that. I like the Vikings. I'm going to go over 9.
The Vikings thing's interesting. I always people would flame me for this. I always had a high opinion of Zimmer. I thought he was good. It seems like they need a different voice now, and
To me that's better though.
Well, no, he's like an old school coach, and those kind of guys work for a few years, but then they get sick of him in the locker room. Because he draws a real hard line coming out of that Parcells mold. I think the offense with O'Connell should be fine. I mean, I think that's not going to hurt. I wonder. I don't think Zimmer leaving is going to help the defense necessarily, but we'll see.
I'd like to talk about an over-under right now. The very first one that I started to lean under is a fashionable over for everybody, and it's everybody's Super Bowl pick. Well, a lot of people's Super Bowl pick.
Chargers?
No, not the Bucks. Nobody has them as Super Bowl pick except for you.
Chargers?
The Bills.
Okay.
What, under Bills?
I want to talk about the Bills. It's 11.5, right? I just want to walk through their early schedule. They opened the season. Anybody know where they opened the season?
At the Rams.
At the Super Bowl champion Rams.
Thursday night game.
Then they have the Titans at home on a Monday night. Then they go to the Dolphins.
Tough.
Then they go to the Ravens.
Tough.
Have the Steelers at home. Then they go to the Chiefs.
Tough.
This is not the schedule of a team that's going to start 6-0, 7-0. I'm not saying the Bills are going under. I'm saying everybody assumes they're going over. But what if they limp get to the playoffs at 11-6 and then make their run? Is this what I'm saying crazy? After that, after the road game with the Chiefs, they come home to the Packers. Then they're at the Jets. They have the Vikings at home. They have the Browns at home. At the Lions, not that bad. At the Patriots, Jets. So their second half of their schedule is significantly, they have at Bengals late in the season too. Significantly easier than the first half.
What's interesting to me is the power ranking Vegas has on the Bills for them to be laying 1.5 on the they're laying points on the road against the defending champs on Thursday. That's one of those lines you'd be like, oh, the Rams are Super Bowl champs, Bills are really good. Rams by 2.5 or 3 at home is what you'd think, And for the Bills to be favored by 1.5, I just saw that line. I was like, damn. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
I think that, your point about slow starts, their schedule is going to be harder, but I think the Bills are, for the most part, the same team. They obviously signed Von Miller, and that's a big sign. They're going to get Tre'Davious White back. But they're, for the most part, the same team. I think teams that have continuity are less prone to start slow and peak later in the year just because they've been together for a while.
My only thing is I don't think they're going to start slow because of any continuity issues. I think they might start slow because that early road schedule is a beast.
They do have a new offensive coordinator with Brian Dabble leaving too. New offensive coordinator.
Yep. They'll be fine. I think they're a good Super Bowl pick, but everybody just assumes they're a slam dunk over, and you look at it.
You got to lay right now. Barstool Sports book. If you want to bet over 11.5 on Buffalo, you're laying $1.39.
What's the under? What's the under?
Plus 115.
Makes sense. He's got a point. You could still be a really good team and be 11-6 and have a couple of close losses.
Yep, you sure could. And the Lions are not going to be that bad.
One team that
this year, right? We're doing that bad.
No. I said it. You were probably not here. Monday's the not that bad power rankings.
Okay, good. We're going to pick our not that bad group.
100%. We have to have the segments we talked about. I think the not that bad power rankings in the NFL is
we're
must do.
Not that bad. All right. How many are we picking? 3?
What's interesting?
5.
I'm looking at the strength of schedule right now.
Or everybody does their polls and we total it out. First place votes, second place votes.
Top 5 weakest schedules according to Sharp Football Analysis. New York Giants number 1, Philadelphia Eagles number 2, Colts 3, Bears 4, Lions 5.
Lions ain't that bad either.
No, they're over under right now. I believe 6.
Whoever we vote on.
Not agree with that, and you're mocking us.
No, but No. It's one of my favorite things we do. Whoever we vote on, we're going to relentlessly call them not that bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, you submit.
I almost think it's a thing where you got to get them into the season where they start 0-3, and then you realize, they covered 3 spreads. They're not that bad.
Okay, so we got to wait 3 weeks. All right, great. I'm looking forward to it.
Although let's put out a watch list.
Yes.
I
watch list.
honestly,
okay. And then every Monday, everybody texts their 5 quietly to TJ.
Yeah.
And he, like I said, he totals it out. So first place votes, and you go right down the list.
Like the fucking
First place votes 5 points. You go in the points.
when the Lions lose 38-0 first week, I'm be like, well, they were driving at the end.
You know who I think sneaky is going to end up on that list? The Texans.
I kind of
They're,
agree.
the end of the
they're
year,
going to be like a bad record, but they're going to cover spreads.
Dude, they beat the
They're gonna be,
Chargers.
like, feisty.
They beat the Chargers as like an 11-point home dog one of the last games.
They fight.
You know who?
Fight.
All
They're
right,
bad,
you know-
but they fight.
If we're talking
TJ,
about
get me with the new guy. I'll set up this whole system.
if we're talking about my pick for the not that bad, I think the Falcons might not be that.
Oh, I already got a dinner bet. Falcons ahead of the Panthers. He owes me.
Brandon, I got
Yeah, I said the
I got a
Panthers,
crazy
maybe.
stat for you about the
Basically, depending on if Baker is
Yeah.
halfway
You
decent.
want to get in on it and back the Falcons? This way you could get out of the dinner you owe me from last year.
Are we still doing it? Yeah, fuck it. You want me to bet on a dinner we'll never pay off? Sure. Add me in.
Well, if they're not gonna be that bad, Brandon, they're over under on the Barstool Sports book.
3.5.
Well, yeah, well,
It's minus like
no. If you
300.
take four and a half,
295.
4.5's the real number, and it's minus 134 on the over. But I mean, 5 and 12, and you get to the window. It's not the worst I've ever seen.
You play the Panthers twice. All
Falcons
right.
play the Jets too, I think.
Jets aren't going to be bad.
Jets aren't that bad, y'all.
I think you're wrong on that.
Jets have a tough schedule.
Jets have added a. I mean, listen, the Jets look pretty good going forward.
I think Zach Wilson's bad. I think that's going to be.
Why, what do you base that on though? Like I don't know that we know yet.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I think both New York teams find themselves in that spot next year.
New York, not a bad football city.
It's not bad.
Finally,
Both like 6-11, like 7-9 or 7-10, but just like not that bad.
Steven, we don't talk about good teams here. We just talk about.
That's the worst thing that can happen to the Giants, though. The worst thing that can happen to the Giants.
that's
is
why it's
finish
gonna
like
happen.
8 and 9.
I'm telling you, Daniel
Daniel
Jones is going to
like
play
pretty
average
good.
this year.
And then you either you can't pick up his option, but then
Who
you
are we
sign
all
him to a
playing
deal.
for this year? Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or Will Anderson?
Yeah, C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, you think?
He's
Will
big.
Levis.
He's bigger.
Cam Ward.
You're not in on him.
You like Levis, Che?
You cannot like
He's
Levis.
going to be a
Have
first
you
rounder.
but I'm saying have you like really watched like dove and
I
watched
haven't gotten
him
into
yet?
the
Need to watch him play.
2023 draft yet.
He's not good. He's big, but he's just not.
it's like the prototype, and then they
I'm
play a
telling
pro
you,
style offense.
I'm so
too.
curious. Without Wendell this year, I think he's going to stink.
No.
He lost like the only good receiver he had who carried their offense. He's on the Giants
He's on
now,
the Giants now, yeah.
who I'm excited about. But I just think he was literally like their whole passing game, and he's just not there. I think that's going to be a major problem.
You're very anti-Kentucky.
No, I'm anti-Will Levis. I think
Well,
Kentucky's got a
he
good
just
program.
wasn't good, and then all of a sudden I woke up and he's just all in every first round mock draft.
I'm
like
like that.
What happened?
I'm not anti-Levis. I'm anti this movement that he's all of a sudden a first-round pick. Like,
I just woke up and they're like, "Oh, he's 6'4",
only thing
240 pounds."
the SEC in last year was interceptions. He had 8 SEC games. He threw more than 175 yards once. I didn't say 300 yards. I said 175.
You look back too, it does seem like the guy that everybody's blowing a little too much. I mean, Sam Howell didn't have necessarily a terrific year
No.
last year.
He had,
No, he was hyped as the number one
he had
pick and
the
ended up in the
classic, he
fifth
lost
round.
all-
Fifth round.
lost his
Got
whole
it.
line and
They
all
were
his
still-
weapons.
They were still blowing.
Don't
I'm
holler.
just saying they're still blowing them.
Why
I
y'all
actually
holler?
don't hate Sam Howell. I still don't hate Sam Howell.
I feel like nobody's blowing Sam Howell. Fifth round pick?
Only after
blowing him.
2 years ago they
Blow
did.
Sam
Going
Howell on
into
this
the
show.
Years ago.
We blow Sam Howell on
They
this show.
blow. They definitely. He's been blown.
We blow most players.
Fair.
I got one other over under I want to bring up just to see what y'all think because I don't know what to think on it. It's
Would
the
blow him power rankings.
Chiefs over under is 10.5.
Under.
I actually lean under with how tough the division is and the Tyreek thing, but damn, I mean they always win 12 or 13.
Let's check that schedule. Well, yeah.
Don't be surprised if the Chiefs don't make the playoffs.
Ooh,
Wow.
wonder what
That
the
was a
that might be a
question.
bet odds to make
Also,
the playoffs. You should look at
That was a question I
Jay
was
might align
asking.
with me on this. Are you a big? I'm huge on the Raiders this year. Thoughts?
I like the Raiders. Yep. I
Tough
think that whole
schedule.
division.
I think the Raiders are like live to win the division.
They're plus
I'm like
650.
that-
They're
I'm
like plus
that high on them.
650.
I think they're very good.
That should be.
I like Derek Carr more than most people.
Me as well.
Hey, everybody likes them this year.
Chiefs open at the Cardinals.
I want to talk about the
Kingsbury game.
Cardinals next.
It's Mahomes.
Suspended.
Then they got the Chargers at the Colts, at the Bucks, Raiders, Bills at home,
I think we read this out
at
a
the
couple
Niners,
Oh, that's the
Tough
first
schedule, dude.
7.
Titans.
Gee.
Then they got Jags at Chargers, Rams at home, at Bengals. This is a nasty schedule.
is
Chargers
a
always play
murder.
tough too.
At the
We talked about
Broncos,
tough.
at the Texans, Seahawks, and Broncos, and at Raiders to end the season.
I've only heard Seahawks, Jags. I only heard 3, and Texans were the only ones I was like easy win. I heard 3.
I'll jump on that. I'll jump on that Chiefs under right now.
It's under 10.5 in the odds. You're not paying bad juice.
That was the question, but the Chiefs are still a top 10 Super Bowl favorite. That was the question I was thinking about driving in. What top 10 Super Bowl odds teams would you say you're confident in not making the playoffs? Take a flyer on.
The Chiefs.
You would say the Chiefs.
Bucks.
The Bucks not making the playoffs.
Well, he's in here. I have to.
All right, fair enough. Is there anybody that jumps out at you as far as like? Would you say the Cowboys wouldn't make the playoffs?
Okay, if
It's just the
say
division.
maybe the Broncos. Like
I feel like Denver's getting a little overhyped.
I think it's weird. A little bit of me. I don't think it's gonna. A little bit of me leans to the Packers not making the playoffs.
I don't know. He's still great, man.
I know he's great.
I know.
I know.
Bears are going to be bad.
Packers
I'm not betting
defense
it. I'm
improved a
just
ton.
saying it.
Bears
I'm
are
just
going to be
saying it.
bad. The Lions are going to be
Yeah,
maybe
he's got a bunch of
okay.
winnable games in that
Lions
division.
aren't gonna be that bad.
They're going to cover some spreads, but making the playoffs is a whole different thing. The team I think the Cardinals are going to stink.
Yeah.
So
Under 8.5. Under.
top 10 favorites for the Super Bowl: Buffalo, Tampa, Green Bay, Kansas City, the Rams, the Chargers, the Niners, the Broncos, the Ravens, and the Cowboys.
Give me the Niners and Broncos out of that group. Niners still got quarterback issues, all right?
I mean, just they almost made the Super Bowl, and
Yeah, but
Garoppolo was like
it's
he
hard-
didn't do it.
it's hard to
They're so
repeat
old,
that,
They
though.
don't need one.
The Broncos.
He was
I
horrible
can see
out
the
there.
Broncos.
They've made two
not
deep
making-
runs without having
I
one.
can see the Broncos not making the playoffs too.
Broncos, I
Broncos,
can
I
see that
agree more
division.
with.
I would go
division's-
super crazy. I'd go Packers and Broncos. That's where I would go.
I don't think Broncos are crazy.
The Packers, their defense is good.
Who's there to
very
beat the
good.
Packers is the problem.
And that's the other
You like
I'm high on the
Minnesota.
Vikings. I'm high on the Vikings.
I could also see the Rams not making the playoffs. The disease of winning. Once you win, you get everyone's best shot.
So is it every year that at least one Super Bowl contender or at least one Super Bowl participant doesn't make the
It's the loser of the
Yeah,
Super
it's
Bowl
typically the loser.
historically is the one who struggles.
Yeah.
It's like so hard to get
I
there.
mean,
and you
could
come
I
up
see
just
the
short.
could I see the Bengals not making the playoffs?
They're 22-1.
So
There's a world
young.
they don't make it.
Their offensive line got better.
If they didn't make it by
I
much.
think them being bad is almost too sexy. Like I think everyone thinks they're gonna fall. I was easy to say that when they were in the Super Bowl, but I think they're gonna make the playoffs again. I don't think they're gonna fall that far. I agree with Che. Like they just got better. Like they pretty much everything that they like their where they came short. Like you said, the offensive line got better. The only thing with Bates is holding out, but I think they'll probably get that figured out. I imagine it's still a long time to go. I don't see why not. I mean, they brought back pretty much everyone else.
All right, Ev, we got to get to our picks for today. And Ev plus 8.35 units yesterday. 6-1 and hit a bunch of monster dogs. Pretty stout. Good day for the show too. I mean, literally like we.
Big F's just a terrific guy.
Try.
Ev, I'll say though, you remember you had a couple months where you were down a little bit.
Yeah, but football season's coming back. He's getting sharp.
Yeah, no, and he won last month too. I mean, it's
Starting to lock in.
yeah, it seems
lock
like
in
it
again.
seems like the return to form is happening.
So weird. I kind of went the opposite day. I went with some favorites today.
Okay.
I'm on that for a 2:00 game on the Cubs money line today. I'm on the Orioles. The Orioles are just on fire. They traded Mancini. Doesn't matter. They just keep winning. Playing the Pirates. I'm on the Braves Mets over 8. It's probably my favorite play today. I'm on the White Sox -1.5 with Cease in the mound and a bounce back.
All right, Rico, you had a big day yesterday.
Yes, I am on Royals money line, Cardinals money line, Mariners -1.5, and Mariners total runs over 3.5.
Did you have any picks today, Brandon? Or
You goddamn right I had picks today.
Brewers
What
suck.
you got?
Got the Rays and the Tigers under 8. I got the White Sox and the Rangers under 7.5, and the Braves bounce back and make it at least a series over there in Queens. Those are my 3 picks. Stephen Che.
I don't do baseball, so
Did you have you can say an over under?
Stephen Che.
NFL over under if you got it.
sure. I still like the Jets if it's 6 overwin 6. I like the Chiefs under 10.5. The Chargers I like. They're over. I believe it's 9.5, but it's like way too juice. So I think it's like -177. So I'm gonna stay away from that.
I've got Tampa Bay by a 1.5. I got over 2.5 Texas runs. The Cardinals +133 as a dog, and I actually took the Mets as a slight favorite over the Braves today. And those are my 4 picks. Any big weekend plans, Ev? You said you're going to a fight tonight.
Yeah, we had the fights with the PFL. Shout out the PFL
Oh,
at
did
the
you ever get my
Garden
ticket?
tonight.
I got one?
Yeah.
Okay.
You going?
Yeah, I guess so.
No shit.
I told him to get me a ticket, so I guess I'm going.
Yeah, I think they sent you an email.
Are you going too, Steven?
I'm not. I can't tonight, but it should be a great event.
Big F, what tell me what it's going to be like.
So it's awesome. Me and Robbie got to go in Atlanta. It's a great setup. The PFL guys are awesome. We've got to meet like the founder, and obviously it's funny. Loud Sean's like one of the main guys over there. So they took good care of us. Like we were on the floor last time. Great fights. The main card's awesome. It's all like Anthony Showtime Pettis, who was like UFC champion. A lot of like former UFC alum, but all like the main fights are gonna be fireworks.
ignorant. Is it boxing or is it MMA?
MMA.
Okay, all right.
It's a playoff format. So the main card. This is the start of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So if they win, their next fight is for $1 million in the championship.
Oh, love it. Okay, love it.
It's 4 semifinal fights.
How long in between rounds? Fights. So like, if they win tonight, when do they
when
fight again?
we went last time, we like followed around Pettis for like the few days, me and Robbie, and that was in what was that, a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
So I think the championship. I think there's a bigger gap between this and the championship. I believe the championship will be in November.
Okay.
So it's out like 3 months.
Got to train and stuff for sure.
Be great if they just did it Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, like Warrior. Just,
Quarters, semis,
like
final.
Tough man.
Figure this thing out.
Let's go.
That's what we were worried about Pettis because it was kind of crazy. And the guy he fought in that last fight, he lost, and that's who he's fighting again. It was kind of a weird scenario where he had locked up the number 1 seed already, so he didn't have much to fight for. He was going to be the number 1 seed regardless, and the guy he was fighting needed to finish him to win. And Pettis won the first round, and the guy kind of put him in a weird body lock position in the second round, like very awkward, and got him in this tough like body triangle where he almost like basically punctured his or like some cartilage in his rib, and he tapped kind of just to like preserve himself to not like get like damaged bad where he wouldn't be able to fight in this next fight. So it's kind of a big thing. Like it's basically a rematch of the fight that me and Robbie saw in a few months ago. So that's the main event, but all the main card fights gonna be awesome. They do a great job. They put on a great show, great fights. It's on ESPN Plus. The main card's on normal ESPN at 7. So it should be great.
Sounds like a hell of a time. The yak yesterday, what was it, like 2-hour yak?
2 hours and 43 minutes.
Wow, one of the very longest yaks. Looked like a pretty wild one.
Yeah, it was Za's KB's wild, presented by Big Cat, performed on Za.
Yep.
Za earned his clubs that he should have been given a long time ago. Fun time.
Awesome. And then the yak up next. What will they do for an encore? Who the hell knows?
Probably nothing.
With that show. Well, everyone have a good
It'll be
weekend.
Tank Fridays.
Okay. Oh, it's Tank Friday now?
No.
That was a joke. Okay. 'Cause I thought, I knew Tank Thursday was Tank. Stay tuned. The yak is up next.